one knows. We're going down. We're going down. We're going down. We're going down. Do you dare to follow me down? Head into the unknown.
Can you hear me now? I don't know what's going on. Before I came live, it said that there was a problem with my microphone connecting. Is it working? It's working. Okay. Okay, yeah. Before I came, it automatically, it just suddenly came up. There was a problem connecting my mic. So it said turn it off, turn it back on, and then it said it was working, and I didn't touch it after that. And then it said I was muted. So whatever. Hopefully it works. Like I was saying, sorry I'm late. I was on the phone. I was trying to vet the information that I have and verify it. And I was able to do that, but there's quite a bit that can't be made public just yet, but soon, soon it will be. But, you know, it's a start, anyways, to kind of, I guess, get us talking about things that we haven't talked much about yet. Um, but let me first address the elephant in the room. Uh, I have been gone for the weekend since Friday, and I was sent a bunch of screenshots about a live stream. I don't even know if it was a live stream or not, to be honest with you, but apparently AB went off on Wolfie. And while that's not my way, it's AB's way, that's his prerogative. And from the looks of things, being sent 72 emails, I mean, whatever. It's none of my business. It's none of my business. But what is my business is some of the chat comments that I was sent screenshots about. Basically, where Rob goes, Charmaine follows, or vice versa. And I want to set the record straight with that. I am not Rob's keeper, nor have I ever been Rob's keeper. Rob does not work for me. There's no kind of relationship there. You know, yes, we talked. He was a mod for my channel, and I have many mods. I actually have 16 moderators on my channel. My moderators are mostly people who supported me while I was on Sunny's show. They were either moderators for Sunny, or I found that they had good input on Sunny's show. And I also have a few moderators who followed me over here from different cases that I covered over the years. My moderators vary from just random people who I don't know much about at all, but were moderators elsewhere and knew what they were doing, to I have healthcare workers, I have mental health care workers, I have doctors, I have a lawyer, I have law enforcement. There's a point and purpose to every one of my moderators, and a very small group of us work together to brainstorm, to get to the bottom of certain leads or tips or whatever, just to see if there's any validity to them. But it's mostly the moderators that I chose, they are they have a different perspective. Everybody comes from different walks of life, different areas, and we all have our own unique perspectives. And my main goal was to keep conversations going about these cases where when information runs dry, we're not just relying on speculation and rumors and toxicity. So, having said that, there's not one single moderator that I have that I rely on for any information, nor do I share information with my moderators unless it's something that needs to be tracked down. And so having said that, I think it's I don't know how anybody else runs their channel, but for me, my moderators are there to work with me as a team. And Melissa, AJ, what is a mod? And like, I don't know what anybody else thinks of what a mod is, but for mine, they're moderators. They're here to moderate the chat, and they're not people that I send out to cause shit or to stir the pot or whatever people think I was doing with Wolfie. I was not using him at all. He is not a minion. He is nothing more than a moderator for me. I have removed his wrench because of choices he's made seem to be reflecting badly on me, and that's just not fair. He does what he does, and it's got absolutely nothing to do with me. So I wish I wish him nothing but the best, but at the same time, his way is not my way, never has been, and never will be. So that's basically the long and short of it as far as Wolfie and Charmaine goes. People are going to say what they want to say, and I mean, I really don't care. I saw it, I heard it, and up until this past weekend, it didn't bother me because it's nothing to do with me. But when he's being called out for shit that I had no knowledge of whatsoever, and my name's attached to it, that's where I have to draw the line because I had nothing to do with any of it. If anything, I've always tried to give him ideas about, how to correct a mistake or how to move forward through a situation. And, you know, that's all I was trying to do. So mm, I'm going to leave it at that. If anybody has any questions, I have no problem answering them, but I would appreciate it if you do have an issue with me. Just talk to me. I don't care if you like me or not. Um, Send me a message and I will answer you. I've got people from both sides of the fence as moderators on my channel. I have got people who are maybe not supportive of Daniel, but are, on the fence about Daniel. And I have people who are, who believe that Malaya has something to do with her kid's disappearance. And they all work as moderators to moderate the chat rooms when I'm live. So, like I said, there's a very small group of us who actually work together. And even those people, I don't rely on them for my information. So, um, yeah. So I'm gonna move on, and hopefully everybody else can move on as well, and let Wolfie do Wolfie, and everybody else can continue doing what we're doing. That's really all I want to say about that. Eight. Yeah, imagine people with different opinions working together. It's unheard of. It's absolutely unheard of, I know, but it's amazing how well it works, especially when people can be a grown up about a conversation. If we don't agree, we can still have our own opinions and talk things out. It's absolutely wild. And along those same lines today, I'm going to show a Monsters of Sabotage video because I feel like that channel may be moving into a direction that's less about attacking people and more about bringing out the truth about what happened with Jack and Lily. And I'm supportive of that. And I realize that a bulk of their content has been to, you know, make fun of or slander or discredit me. And just really quick, I was sent another screenshot this morning, and I don't know why because it's from a very old video, but the screenshot said something about putting out wrong information. And like, this live stream here is probably one of the first where I've said I'm going to put out new information, and it's not even new information, it's just stuff that we haven't talked about here before. So, as for me putting out wrong information, you're barking up the wrong tree. You need to go and find the people that I get the information from, which is YouTube, who've already put this stuff out, and tell them that they're putting out the wrong information, because I try my best to say, this is the source that I got this from. You know, if it's not correct, this it's not me. I'm not making it up, you know. And even the stuff that I was getting from Daniel or Malea's side, I was sure to tell everybody that's where I'm getting it. So there's no telling whether it's true or not, right? I didn't do that. I didn't make that situation what it is. They did. So it is what it is. So, anyways, like I said, today I am going to play a Monsters of Sabotage video to get us started, because some of my information comes from there, but I do have that source that gave them that information, and I have more information to, I guess, pony on top of it. So that's what we're gonna do today. I think we're gonna look at Malaya in a slightly different light. I'm not comfortable about it, but it needs to be done. Lynn, good to see you. Hi, nurse and Angelina. I hope you're doing okay. Hey, Matt is a catter. And Gran, thanks for being here. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry I was so late, but my phone call went way over what it was supposed to be. Hey, Sailor and Laverne, good to see you. Hey, Cheryl. See, and I even warned you. See this right here? Look. Mm, see? Wow, so late. My bad. Sorry. And Sherry, good to see you. Hey, Marie, Deanna, and Vicky, and Roots. Thanks for coming, Roots. Hey, Cindy. Mute, mute, mute. Lynn, good to see you. Hey, Bobby. Who else? Should be about it. Oh, hey, Seawood. Ernestine, always a pleasure. Cindy B. Hey, Snoop Sisters. Marlene. AJ. That chat gets hostile. And honestly, I think I I try to my YouTube is much different than my personal life. Not that I don't strive to be fair and unbiased in my personal life, which I try to, but I mean, I'm human. But sometimes when you're trying so hard to see things through an unbiased, unjudgmental frame of mind, sometimes you can start buying into the bullshit. And sometimes I need a reality check, and I need to be reminded of what and who we're dealing with here. And make no mistake, I am not a fool. I see and hear everything. Um, I try to look at things empathetically, put myself in other people's positions, and try to imagine myself dealing with a certain situation. And sometimes that can become a little bit, you know, overwhelming at times. And I don't want anybody to think that, I support Daniel and think he's innocent. I don't want anybody to think that I think Malaya is a stellar mother, or you know, that she is innocent in all of this, because I don't. I just don't see a value in constantly throwing the same attacks at people. But watching certain channels helps keep me grounded, and I appreciate AB for his content. I wish everyone would leave you out of their damn drama. And I mean, there are people that just don't like me, and that's perfectly fine with me. I don't care. But like you say, Just because Wolfie did something stupid doesn't mean Charmaine made him do it. It doesn't mean Charmaine even knew he was doing it because 99% of the time I didn't. Yes, we are a team and work well together to help make you great. Help make everybody great. Absolutely. He's a grown man, does his own thing. Good. I got here at the end. Did you? There's nothing to catch up, Mary. I was so late getting in. I'm sorry. That's right. All we do is moderate the chat to make sure nobody's being super extra ignorant. And then if I need help, like there have been days, of course, where I'm like, you know, searching everywhere for a screenshot or something. So I'll ask my mods to see if they can try, because for some reason, my mods are wizards when it comes to digging up stuff that happened a long time ago. They have it. So, I mean, I do ask them for stuff, but it's nothing. I'm not asking them to go stir shit or start drama or lie or release information. Like no, no, that's not me. Right. Pull the knife out of your back. What are you talking about? I always liked you at Sunny's, but really like you on your own channel. You get to speak more. Your outlook is respectable. Thank you, Vicky. Thank you. I was worried I missed something all week, but kind of glad I did miss all that sort of here. I think the drama wasn't about me. It was the reaction to the drama by some of the commenters. It just seems like where Wolfie goes, Charmaine is right there, and that's just not reality. So he's his own person, never has worked for me. No, it's nothing like that. Crime Science Story, it's good to see you. Wolfie did this to himself, simple as that, and I did tell him that. You betcha. I was late too. I'm having a good day. I'm glad you are finally feeling better, Melissa. I, on the other hand, am extremely, I'm not like foggy, but I'm off. I'm off. But I pushed a little too hard and now I'm puking. And, oh, whatever. Calm down. Just relax. AJ, glad to hear you're having a good day. Right. Yes, Melissa, you need to take it easy. Okay. So, I guess before we get started, just to give everybody a heads up, I want to make it clear who the source is. I'll be showing screenshots after. Anita Maxwell Johnson is a close family friend to Cindy. She actually basically grew up with Wade and met Cindy when they started dating. But she was a ministry approved babysitter for the baby. When Malaya and the baby had to go and stay at Cindy's house under supervision, this woman was the ministry approved caregiver for the baby, who we agreed not to mention the baby's name anymore, but we all knew who we're talking about. But that is the lady's name, and that is going to be the source of the information that we're going to talk about today. Like I said, I didn't even get a quarter of the way through the phone conversation before I had to cut it short, and hopefully talk more when the stream is over in the coming days. But I just wanted to make sure that let you know who the person is. And the things that we're going to talk about today have been made public by other people. And the stuff that I've been told that isn't public yet, I believe for the most part, it should be me that brings it to you. But it needs to wait um, until after a certain interview is done. So having said that, let's get started with the monsters of sabotage. And the reason why we're choosing to play this today is because, like I said, For the time being, they seem to have steered away from simply attacking people to attack, to actually um, covering relevant information. Now, am I going to ask everybody to go and like and subscribe? Not yet, but I hope one day that we can get there, because as much as everybody thinks that there's this rift between Chrissy and I never had an issue with Chrissy. I took issue with one thing that Chrissy did, and from there it went completely off the rails on her part. So I'm not extending an olive branch or anything like that. However, I never did have a problem with Chrissy, except for the one stream that she chose to call in on, and even that was just an opinion, which in the big picture means next to nothing. So hopefully this video that I'm going to show now is the beginning of a new direction for the channel that's um, relevant and useful and valuable information for us all to know. So, not promoting yet, but we'll play it. Let's pay attention to the video. Like I said, it's important that you know pay attention to the information in here, and we're going to talk about it and then some. It's very troubling. It's all very disturbing, but here we go. Let me know right away if you can't hear it, okay? If it stops buffering, just one sec. I'm gonna refresh it.
Lately, I know it's not your brother. Can't you see? It's gotta be one way or the other. Either say cat or dad. If it ain't right, it's sad. Call it a room or pad. Gotta be this or that. If it ain't half, it's whole. If it ain't rock, it's roll. If it ain't wild, it's soul. Gotta this stuff that Lord stretch out for hamburger on snow. I'm waiting, waiting things, but I'm not what you are. Babe, only now do I see the big picture, but I swear the stars fall. Only you could have had me in this perfect way tonight. I might be blind, but you told me the difference between mistakes and what you just meant for me. You say you ever loved me. Don't say you ever cared. Got the fastest cars on. Oh, we gotta get out of here. When you I'm feeling love. You say you love me, don't you lie? I got my heart, don't wanna die. Keep the pistol on my side. Cases, you. She feel my mother without the I'm not receiving some. Hope I make it out of here. He's just about to loop. Pop like made a case of real. This not the molly, this the boat. Ain't no coming back from here. Let a life a life a minute. It's so much game that I can't see it. Turn it up till they can't hear. Running around for the thrill. Yeah, dogs all run my reel.
Trees aren't green, the ocean is gray, sky is a fake blue, come my way. My room is a mess, it could use a hand. My favorite TV shows are capturing. know must get it right. Must get back in the fight. This can't be a surprise. I think I'll let it slide. Oh, sleepwalking through all of my problems. I can't make it through. I don't think I'm best to stay. I'll keep running fast, left and right. Wondering where my past gone now. I'm sleepwalking through all of my problems. Where did it go? The feeling of thirst, desire to be, a rock in my heels. I'm numb as a poison, flows in my veins. Guess I got used to avoiding the pain. I know must get it right, must get back in the fight. This can't be a surprise. I think I'll let it slide. Home sleep, all my problems. I can't make it through. Every minute is the same. I keep running fast, left and right. Wondering where my head's gone. I'm sleepwalking through all my problems. Maybe I need a break. Maybe that's why I fade into this bitter taste. I think I'll let it be.
Yeah.
This woman, I don't know, flagged that Savannah.
So that was Monsters of Sabotage. Now, just a sec. I want to go back. I'm going to mute it, and then I'm going to go back, and we're going to go through some of the information because it's a weird way to do a video. It's kind of hard to follow, and it's kind of hard to like decipher what information they're trying to put out. So let me help with some of it right now, okay? Um, the the first part was one of the last things that we saw there, and I can confirm that there are no supervised visits with the baby. They've both been put off. So that's, I think, new information that we didn't know, that they're not seeing Meadow, even though I promised not to say her name. I'm sorry, but it's sad. Now this one, allegedly, let me grab my notes because it's not, this is all new for me too. I was given a heads up. Um, Actually, strangely enough, the same day, whatever day that was that AB did his video, this was also happening. So I was trying my best to read screenshots from both. Um, I had already seen this video, but like you guys, I was watching it thinking, okay, this is all interesting, but I didn't know how to put it together. What was info, what was because of the source, I didn't know what was true, what was just attacks, what was just meant to slander or raise suspicion, whatever. What I didn't know what to make of it. So, but I had been reached out to from somebody who was supplying this information, and so it was just it was an odd day. I was trying to deal with the death in the family and all of this stuff going on. So today I was really trying to just bring it all back and wrap my head around what I was allowed to talk about, what I wasn't allowed to talk about, and what is still yet to come. So I have some notes, but I can tell you that, like I said, information or supervised visitation with the baby is no longer. Now, how long? I don't know. I don't know why Malaya can't see the baby, but I do know that supervised visitations have been canceled. My notes say access to Meadow has been canceled. Now, as for baby girl Murray, um, Chelsea, yeah, it can be. Um, and I mean, I have to say allegedly, right? Because again, this is not, I'm not there. I'm not watching this go down. This is just information that I've been given, and the information came from a close family friend of Cindy's, who was the ministry approved caregiver for the baby under Cindy's household. When Malaya was given supervised, well, she could keep the baby under supervision at Cindy's house. When Cindy was at work, this individual was the ministry approved babysitter. Okay. So take it or leave it. It's, you know, it is what it is. So, I was really apprehensive about this whole thing and still am. I want to make sure that I don't get anything wrong. So I'm hoping that if anything is wrong that I say, even though I've written out what I can and can't say, if just reach back out to me and let me know and I will correct it. Like immediately, I will correct it. I have my phone open. I will correct it. So here we go. The baby you see, obviously not this baby, but baby girl Murray. There was speculation that this happened, and I believe it was actually Monsters of Sabotage that brought this out early on, that there might be another child that was surrendered early on before Lily was born. This information tells me that this baby was actually after Jack, but before the baby. I baby M. Let's call her baby M. Um, so, but surrendered, not taken. That makes sense, right? Um, I was told that Malaya had done another polygraph last week, and hmm, can't say that because it's just a second. Now, some people like if you do you guys remember it was one of my last live streams and we were looking at the property and quite a few of you guys were asking me about the green totes that were outside on the porch, and I said, "Well, how would I know? How would I find out?" Right? Allegedly, the green totes were inside, and only a small number of them were seen outside, and there were none inside. So there were some green totes missing from the property um, since the day the kids went missing to the day that the videos were taken, like the news interviews were done. So that I found was a little bit interesting. Okay, so that's that about the baby girl Murray. Now, after Jack and before baby M. So, would Daniel have been the father? I don't think so, but I also don't think it would have been Cody. So, was there another boyfriend in between the two? Do you guys know? Okay, so does that mean Wade was not one of the people who was appointed as a person to supervise? So, from my understanding, um, yes, but Malaya had told Wade and the babysitter that she didn't want to stay there anymore. So they all went to Henry Brooks, took Malaya and the baby over to Henry's, and it was actually this um, not sure who called CPS, but it was actually this babysitter who handed the baby over. So, yeah. What were you saying, Julie? Mm. Oh, thank you, Vicky. That's nice. This is strange. Is that what you're saying? Sorry about Julie. It is very strange. All knew, all stayed quiet till kids went quiet, and now they all talk. I didn't think they would restrict the supervised visits with the baby. Yeah, they don't cancel access to the child for petty stuff. No, and I mean, Daniel's charges alone, you would think would be enough to, stop his supervised visits, but I don't know what it was on Malea's part. Does that mean? So like I said, I believe Malaya told them that she didn't want to be there anymore, so they took her to Wade's or to Henry's, and Cindy was at work. I don't know. Nobody seems to know who actually called CPS, but they were all there when Meadow was taking into CPS custody. I believe Belinda said there was another guy, but only for a few months. Well, allegedly. So how? Jack was 4. Meadow is not quite 2. So, I mean, there was over a 2-year time frame there for her to have become pregnant, had a baby, and surrendered the baby. It's not impossible. Okay. I'm sorry, I must have missed your comment. I'm not sure what it was that you said. So I'm going to continue playing and get to the next allegation. It's not even allegation. And apparently it's very true that poor baby M, she wasn't walking. She'd spent so much time in her playpen that her legs didn't grow, like they wouldn't straighten out properly, so she had to have medical intervention when she got into foster care. But she's doing well now, and that's all that matters. Um, so, like Daniel, Hayden was also charged with confinement and sexual assault at a family member's house. From my understanding, this was at Patty's house, and Malaya lived there at that time. And I can't say indeed it is true, but it's not just a YouTube rumor. If it is a rumor, it's coming from family. So it's also friggin' disturbing to think, and also like That was my mic again. Is that why you guys are calling me? Because I'm muted? Oh man, that's so funny. I don't know what is going on. I don't know what's going on with my mic. I didn't do it again. 2 minutes? For fuck's sakes. Did you guys hear anything about? I don't know what's going on with my mic. I swear to God, I didn't touch it again. Um, so where did we leave off? Loving my channel? Oh, Mike, good, good. Because I was just gonna say I'm fucking, muted. Muted half the time that I talk, so I'm glad you're loving it. Um, so I'm going back. Everybody's saying that I'm muted, and I get it. I was muted. Perfect. Where did I leave off? Okay, so you heard nothing after the Hayden thing. So the original rumor was that Hayden and Daniel did that shit together. So allegedly, that that situation happened before Daniel was in the picture, but it did happen at Patty's house. Uh, apparently, I don't know that Malaya knew that the girl was in there, but it did happen at Patty's house, and Malaya lived there at the time. So, sorry, I was just actually, I think I was kind of dancing around the next bit, anyways. So, we know that Daniel is a controlling person, and oh, gentle way of putting it. Um, he was, and I can contest to this, that Daniel was worried that Meadow would get fat. So he was very concerned with the type of food that he was buying for Meadow to eat, allegedly. But apparently it was Malaya who had to buy food for Lily and Jack to eat. So the fact that she didn't have any money coming in, there wasn't a lot of food for Jack and Lily to eat. So that's also very disturbing. But yeah, and I mean, I've got screenshots, and being that I'm not turning over a complete new leaf, but I'm done with being kind and gentle about Daniel. He was controlling, and he absolutely was abusive, and this whole idea that he's the one that took care of everything. He's the one that controlled everything. He's not the one that took care of anything. Um, yeah. And yeah, like I said, all this came at me the same day. And then today, when I was kind of trying to catch it all up and get everything in order that I was allowed to talk about today, or what had to wait for a week, which isn't that long in the grand scheme of things. So I'm really trying to make sure that I don't overstep or misstate anything. That's why going through this video like this is important, so that I can see what we're talking about, and then I'll go back and look at my notes, and and then we're gonna go over to some screenshots. I know they were insinuating in this pic that they were hungry, right? Why is Jack missing from that picture? So, from what I understand, let me make sure I get this right. Uh, Malaya was closer to Jack than she was to Lily, and Lily always tried to um, make Daniel happy because she wasn't getting the attention from her mom. But then we heard Malaya say that Daniel would pick on Jack and sometimes Lily. So I can only imagine. And there's more in this video too that we'll get to. It's 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 sad. So I'm not sure why the windows and stuff. So this is Kiki's allegation. I have no idea what is going on, you guys. I didn't do it again. Okay, you can stop calling me now. I get it. Thank you. This is ridiculous. I'm just gonna play this through again. Okay. This is stupid. I'm sorry, you guys. Like I swear to God, I'm not doing anything. Just like I had that paused and it unpaused itself. So I don't know what's going on. I'm not touching my mic. Computers just mods keep doing that. Keep if I get muted again, just keep calling and then I'll look and I'll see. This could be the universe telling me to shut the fuck up. You never know. You never know. So my mods will continue to call me when my microphone mutes. I'm just going to play this out and I'm going to talk over it because I got it muted anyway. So, yeah. We all remember Kiki's allegation about the closet, hanging them upside down, this and that. Now, apparently, Cheryl Christine told me that the kids slept separately. Okay. We knew that they shared a room. So when Cheryl said they slept separately, I asked her, well, what do you mean? Daniel peeked in on them, blah, blah, blah. And she said they were separated by plywood. So I said that on my live stream. And Maleah's statement to the RCMP backed that up. But allegedly now, the kids slept in a bunk bed. Lily was on the bottom. How does, so what's the truth? Is this true? And what difference does it make? Why the lie? Why the lie? All right. Mandatory reporting is a legal obligation for designated professionals such as teachers, healthcare workers, and social workers to report suspected child abuse, neglect, or harm to vulnerable adults to authorities. It is not a private matter, and failure to report can lead to legal penalties. Now, why does it say to vulnerable adults? Because this is also kids as well. So if this person that I'm talking about here, this information is coming from, says that it was clear to her that there was abuse. And in some ways, which I'll have specifics for you next week, Cindy was aware of that abuse. And when she was asked if she reported any of it, she said, no, I don't think so. This is their grandmother. And yeah. And not just that, if they also knew that Patty was being stolen from, that's abuse too. So there's 3 human beings being abused by this one girl, and at least one mandated reporter was fully aware of it all, and nobody was reported? I mean, all of my, and I don't know that I've been defending Malaya on the whole, but maybe excusing her actions as part of a mental illness or postpartum depression or abusive reaction, something like that. I am this close to taking every fucking syllable of it back. So, Cheryl, I do not think Seawood, I don't think that Cheryl is a healthcare worker. I believe it's Haley. I don't know. I could be wrong. I've never asked Cheryl what she does for a living, but I do know that Haley has been very um, outspoken, I guess, and she did talk to Sunny a lot, and she is a healthcare worker for sure. Mm. We'll get to that, Marie. Oh, it gets so much worse. It gets so much worse. And the stuff that we'll talk about, like as soon as the interview that we're waiting for is done and this person is comfortable talking, there'll be more information to come out. I feel like I feel like this is the way to the actual truth of what went on with Jack and Lily. And who's to say that now that it is public knowledge, at least the allegations are out there, that anybody that didn't report and knew about it, documented, knew about it, didn't report, who's to say that they can't be held responsible on some level as well? And could that have something to do with the silence? That is total speculation on my part, but who's to say? The waxing crescent moon is widely used to signify the beginning of a new cycle, personal transformation and intuition. May 1st, 2025. This is where you kind of sort of a little bit lose me, but there is a rumor that, and I don't think it has anything to do with anything, do not come at me, but there is a rumor that Malaya and potentially Hayden are satanic sympathizers, to say the least. And I have no judgment. Anybody wants to believe what they want, they can. But that's where that whole witchcraft, wait, all of that stuff, like the full moon phases and stuff, that's where those rumors stem from, is from that particular belief system. Whether or not it's true, like why, or if they believe that, or if it had anything to do with it, I'm going to say no, just my opinion. But that's my understanding of why that slide was stuck in there. According to a Salt Springs elementary teacher, Lily had said, "He hates me. He hates my brother. My mom hates me too. Please do not make me go home." Apparently that is true. And I think it's in this video as well that um, Lily would quite often go to school smelling of urine. I can't remember if it gets into this in the video, but I will go ahead and say that I have information and am looking for a way to prove it. So take it with a grain of salt. But the kids were removed twice in the past. They were sent they were allowed to stay at Nana Cindy's for a couple of days, twice. in the past, uh, potentially a year or more before they went missing, though. So definitely not the past December 2024, where we know that CPS made a visit to them. This was before that. The ministry had involvement for quite some time, which explains the full on panic mode when these children went missing, and all of a sudden we see these memos from higher ups in CPS wondering, what was done when these kids were in our system. Like, what was the follow up? What was the resolution? And we'll never know. But if Belinda is successful in her, I guess, guardianship case, we might find out. Or if there was any way for Cody to stand up for himself and exercise his parental rights. Um, Maybe one day we'll be able to know, but it sounds to me like there had been a problem with these two babies for quite some time, and attempts to step in and help rectify the situation. Maybe it changed temporarily long enough to get CPS off their backs, but it obviously it always went right back to what it was, and clearly it got worse because here we are 9.5 months later and nobody has a clue where Jack and Lily are. And the only people looking for the children are people that never met them. We can understand and she still be responsible. Mm-hmm. Cheryl is, I don't know. I believe this is why Haley was cut out, because they knew she would report them. It's probably one of the reasons, but she's also been she was very vocal, but like from what I from what I gather, a lot of people, as outspoken and unfiltered as Haley is, she is probably the most honest. So that could also be another reason for it. They just don't like people like this, they don't like to hear the truth. They like people, cushioning the blows for them so they don't seem that doesn't make them feel bad. And that's why they keep doing this stupid shit. And it gets worse and worse and worse because you have people enabling them or shielding them from any real accountability or consequences. Then her license would be on the line, if, as it should be. I hate to say it, but as it should be. Major elder abuse happens to Patty. Absolutely. I say present tense because the fuckery is still happening. Yeah, if you know, you know. I would not believe what Cheryl says to you. She is a handler, literally. This is not coming from Cheryl. In fact, I shudder to think what Cheryl will have to say to me after this, but I didn't even run any of it by her because I'm fully aware of that. Like I said before, I'm not a fool. I cannot be manipulated. And just because I don't say anything or start shit, it doesn't mean that I'm blind to it. If it doesn't affect me personally, I usually let it go. It's just none of my business. The police know this already. You betcha they do. And there was another few interviews about this kind of stuff. No, no, no. No, I didn't say it. I didn't say that. But that information about the moon and shit, that's real. It's what they believe. Um, and this individual seems to think that um, a belief system can play into this somehow, which I don't. Just the facts. I don't. So don't Don't run around saying that I'm saying that because I'm not. I'm trying to tell you what these slides mean from my perspective based on the information that I was given. Okay, that's all I'm doing here. I'm not making any of this up, and I'm not saying this is what I believe. Am I muted? Okay, continuing on. Lily really thought her parents didn't like them at all. Mm, so this one I didn't even get to talk about, but apparently Brian Ward owns the property that Vincent Mallory rents. Like I said, I don't know. I don't know why my am I muted? Makes me so damn mad. Never had sympathy for either Malia or Daniel. Hope the book is thrown at them when the time comes, and anyone else who knew about the neglect and abuse of these children. I agree. Haley also spoke up, and the recordings were leaked out. Hayden and Malaya being drunk. It's all true. Yeah. I've also heard that, I mean, that's exactly what I heard, as a matter of fact. Malaya is, she is a drinker, and her personality changes substantially when she's drunk, and she likes her wine. I don't know. I've been muted half the time, April. Don't even worry about it. When she was young, she used to be into the wicked stuff. And it's okay for people to be curious or explore whatever, but I think and I mean, I don't know, but it would be a stretch for me to say, oh, she did this because she's into Satanism. Like it doesn't even sound right coming out of your mouth. It's bizarre. My heart breaks so much over this case. The more you know, the less you know. It's enough to drive you crazy. Yeah. All new in all sides, all allowed it to go on, even their friends. Yeah. Seems like it. Seems like it. Witchcraft is very different from Satanism, you bet. Um, no, witchcraft isn't female. Witchcraft is more about using the elements and nature and all of that. Where Satanism is actually worshiping um I don't know whatever the demigods, whatever the anti whatever. I don't know. Different things. That's right there had me mad. That right there had me mad. I don't know where you guys are. I'm gonna fast forward a little bit. Screen is still buffering. I'm not muted. Am I muted? I better not be muted. Failed by so many people. I don't know. I'm sorry, Belinda. I'm behind. I don't know what you're referring to. Oh my fuck, these people should not be near children. I agree. I was wondering, like, do we have somebody in here called Seafood? That's great. Um, this is why my brain is so obsessed with Jack and Lily. I feel the whole system failed, and I will not stop fighting until we achieve justice. No more turning a blind eye. Right. And although I'm not going to sit here day in and day out and attack Daniel and Malaya just because I didn't, there's no amount of pressure or attacking that's going to make them talk and tell us what happened. I'm going to make it known what I think, but again, like all I can do is go by the information that I'm given, but I'm not going to keep regurgitating the same shit over and over again. Do you know what I mean? So if that means doing a stream on Jack and Lily once every few days, because that's when we have more to talk about, then okay. Or if this, if after the stream is done and somebody comes along and says, "Oh, you got this, and that wrong," and they can prove to me why it was wrong, we'll revisit it. Absolutely. But there's no more making excuses for these people. There's nothing that anybody can do to make them talk. So, because I know that some people know these people are not speaking, or when they do not tell the truth, right? It's because they're all guilty and sticking together both sides. I don't get that though. I don't understand why one side hasn't ratted the other, taken a deal. Look at Carla Homolka. I keep saying it. Does the RCMP know? Yes. Yes. And that is exactly what the interview is about, or anything that might have been missed. Um, I didn't know anything about Wolfie until I heard AB. And then there's Kent, new people on creators' channels don't understand. And I am one of them. Nothing against anybody. It's a learning curve. Yeah, but apparently you can't be respectful or nice to somebody without being in collusion with them. So people who don't like me can just go, I don't give a shit. Just stop mentioning my name in other streams when you have no idea what you're talking about. None. Oh, thank you. Definitely needs to be an inquiry and how absolutely. And hopefully that inquiry is not waiting for for the RCMP to find Jack and Lily. That needs to happen right away. And the more pressure and the more charges that come up for this shit, I think the quicker somebody is going to spill the beans of where Jack and Lily are. I'm gonna have to refresh this again. What is going on? I don't get it. You know what? It's minus 25 here, so it's quite possible that my internet's frozen. Oop, back up, back up. Did we talk about this? We always talk about this. Janie can see and hear everything that happens on her property. So, by the way, I heard little birdie told me that there were, in fact, two dogs there that morning on the property. One was Free Fluffy, whatever that dog's name is, whatever. And the other dog's name was Lily. And that dog is a pit bull. But she was also very, very old. And allegedly didn't move around too well. And with all the hustle and bustle of the searchers and everything going on, the decision was made around the second or third around the search time, after like 2, 3 days after the search, the decision was made to put this dog, whose name is Lily, down. Don't shoot the messenger. Just telling you what I heard. What did you say again, Charmaine? Satan, what? That Malaya and Hayden are, I'm not saying they're Satanists, but they're Satanist sympathizers, which I guess I would be too, because allegedly they said there's nothing wrong with worshiping Satan, which I don't think, as long as you're not hurting anybody, I don't have a problem with anybody does. Does that make me a sympathizer? Like, I don't know. But allegedly she said that. Monsters of Sabotage, cool. I think witchcraft is involved. It's just so hard to believe. It wouldn't surprise me if there is a connection. I don't know. Wicca is not Satanism, that's right. Like I said, witchcraft, Wicca, that is the elements, that is nature, that is the earth. Whether you're talking about dark or white, it doesn't matter. Witchcraft is much different than Satanism. Satanism, you're actually worshiping a god. Um, and I don't know a lot about Satanism, but I guess like Satan, Lucifer, whatever, whoever, totally different. Not the same thing. Justice will come for Jack and Lou one day. Well, I did notice Malaya had weird symbols tattooed on her fingers. Well, I'd say lock all who knows stuff up. Yeah. That's what I mean. The sooner they charge people with like this stuff, if there is a way to prove it, which we don't know, if there is a way to prove it, this is not simple neglect. These things would be criminal neglect. There would be there would be substantial penalties for this, and substantial is subjective. For a healthcare worker who didn't report, losing your career would be a substantial penalty. So even the potential threat of that should be enough to get people talking, in my opinion. Some witchcraft is pagan, absolutely. No what, McKiffin? Thanks for being here. No, no, no. Am I muted? Does that mean I'm good? I'm just behind in chat. Good to know, good to know. How do any of them look at pictures of those sweet faces? How do you know they do? As a matter of fact, doesn't that kind of start to make sense? Why there's no missing kids posters anywhere? Why nobody is talking about the kids anymore? Makes sense to me now. Witchcraft is of Satan. Okay. Hey, Dodie. Jack and Lily need our attention, not idiots. I agree. She sure is living it up, jobless and living off others. That's what I hear. Yeah, fresh tattoos. I lost the last 1% of respect for her when I heard she's not talking about Lily and Jack because she is shy. Yeah. Hey, Blue Jay. I wonder if she's one of those forgetting drunks, doesn't remember where anything went. I don't think so. I don't think so. I mean, there's so much more, and I can't wait to be able to tell you. But it certainly changed and it's not that I had an opinion on Malaya. I didn't know whether she was involved or not, but it was nicer for me to think of her as a victim of domestic abuse and postpartum depression and being into this terrible rut of a girl who's intellectually immature, who loves her kids, but just totally didn't have the self-confidence, self-esteem, or even the self-awareness to protect her kids from danger. That's what I was kind of making. I was kind of making myself into this little bubble of not poor Malaya, but if only somebody would have stepped in to help her. But after today and the last couple of days, my opinion has most certainly changed. There was other criminal things going on there. I heard. I watched the Delphi case. Yeah. Yeah. And the ones that I sent you, Dodie, it's a really great overview. But the trial it was a thing. Yes, Belinda, I pray for justice. I'm from Pictou and know parts of Daniel's family, but not him or his mom. This has hit hard. Yeah. Stack the charges. If half of this shit has any kind of evidence, I'm with you. What are you waiting for? I believe because Belinda wasn't around, at that time, but it was only temporary. And like I said, take that with a grain of salt because I don't know how we're going to be able to prove it, but that is what was said to me, that they were removed and placed with Cindy for 48 hours twice in the past. The inquiry will only happen after the fact, like Porta Pig inquiry, which is still ongoing. Just fucking ridiculous, Karen. Mm, yes, older pity mix was put down allegedly in the woods. Day 2 or 3 of the search. It's wild. Maybe. Maybe that's why he was crying when Belinda arrived. Absolutely. Could be. That's right. Why keep it so hush hush makes it look like hiding the fact that Justin was there then too? I don't know, man. It's all suspicious. Who cares about Wolfie and Kent? It's about Jack and Lily. That's right. That's right. And people that start shit and bring shit and create drama do not have the right to say this is about Jack and Lily because that's exactly what you're not about when you start shit and bring drama. So say it again, Polly, for the people that are fucking lurking. Sum it up, it's the worship of one's self. Correct. That'd be Satanism. Why would Justin's dog be there if he wasn't? No, he was there. We're talking about during the search, right? And I think it was always speculated that it was Justin's dog that Belinda heard. Just no verification. And I don't know if you can call this verification or not, but yeah, the dog that Belinda heard that did not match the appearance of Free Fluffy. What's that dog's name? Chester or some shit? I'm gonna keep calling him Fluffy. Um, anyways, that big pity bark didn't match the appearance of Janie's dog, Tucker. Tucker, right? Um, apparently, I don't know if I can say it's a fact, but I was told that the dog's name is Lily. It was a pit bull, and it was put down the second or third day of the search in the woods, taken out back and shot. And apparently, time for truth, you never know, but apparently this dog had a really hard time moving around, like its hind end wasn't working. So, like, I don't know. Yeah, that's an opinion. Absolutely. It's like the Epstein files of Picto. I wouldn't be surprised if these names are on a list. I am also very burnt out, not just from, yeah, it's a lot. What did AJ say? CPS stopping the visit with Malaya could indicate charges soon. Like, we're not talking about that anymore, cool. Like, is that a sore subject to you? Satanism and witchcraft? Just wondering. Should keep bringing it up. Um, I don't know. I don't think I'm allowed to say that yet. But some people might be worried or thinking that Malaya could be charged with something soon. Joe Neal. Because there's an interview, I believe, with Major Crimes Unit that needs to be done before some of this stuff gets out, and I would not want to do anything to step on anybody's toes or, tarnish any of the information. Um, but we're at 9.5 weeks, folks. So what's another week to wait to get some of the other stuff? And at that point, is it still is it any more or less verifiable? To me, I question it because it's still another person. Yes, a close contact to Cindy, who had first-hand contact with Malaya and Meadow and Wade. But does that make it solid fact? Like, I don't know. She ain't shy if she had anything to do in support of Satan. What do you mean? I think we've all been easier on Malaya just looking at the situation and everything that we've been able to learn about Daniel. It's easy to sympathize with Malaya. And I think for me, those days are over. And nor do I sympathize with Daniel. I don't. I understand why Daniel isn't talking anymore. But I've never sympathized with Daniel. And she is considered a victim in the current criminal complaint that Daniel has been charged with. She is most definitely the victim. Heartbreaking, poor kids feeling that your mom and stepdad doesn't like you. Beyond that, like hate. My mom hates me. Shenanigans here. In my eyes, there are two victims, and that's not mom or her boyfriend. That's right. No one on that fucking property is a victim besides the minors. They had no option. Correct. Shame on them. She's a perpetual victim because it's always worked for her. And she had one job when she was like 16 years old, hasn't worked since. And like you said, it's because she's always gotten away with it. There's always been somebody there to, I guess, cushion the fall. And when she didn't do dishes for a number of days and Patty got pissed off and asked her to leave, she wanted Malaya to leave the kids there. And Malaya refused. But then fast forward 2.5 years or however long it was, now the kids are basically a burden and all she cares about is Meadow, which not even because Meadow wasn't walking. She wasn't even picked up out of her playpen enough to let her fucking legs grow properly. You will never watch everything that there is to watch on YouTube on the Delphi case, so I'll think of a few creators that did the most work on it. Um, that have the most streamlined information because there was a lot of speculation and a lot of stuff that doesn't matter. And you get caught up in it. Ended up with custody of them when they were a lot littler. Yeah, twice, right? Hey, Johnny. Yeah, that's what I'm hearing. You bet. Malaya has never been a victim, in my opinion. She allowed her babies to be abused and stole from her grandmother. Right. Yes and no. I believe Malaya is not very intelligent. She was a victim and an abuser. She chose substances and security over the children she had with an ex who wronged her. I partially agree with that. Seawood, yes. This is day 2 or 3 of the search. You bet. Justin was there. Wasn't living there, but he was there with his dog. That doesn't mean that he was living in the RV with Janie. Patty has always been the enabler for both Hayden and Malaya. You're not wrong. I don't even know who Wolfie is, not that I give a shit. Not even worth it. I thought that was Vincent's dog, the one that he said got loose and ran away. Allegedly, it was Justin's dog. I'm a little behind, haven't paid any attention to anything going on with this case in over 2 weeks because it burnt me out. Because there's really been nothing new. And maybe that's, well, maybe that and the interviews that came out last week could have kicked this person to go public. You wish Cindy would have been able to keep them? Hold that thought for another week. Those who stir the shit spot have to lick the spoon. Do they? Very rarely. Tucker, thank you. Or am I still that far behind? I will never understand how a young mother can be so cold-hearted or whatever turned her cold heart towards her own 2 beautiful children. Yeah, I can't disagree with any of that. Thanks, Denise. Janie said Justin was crying because she was crying. Yeah, she did say that, didn't she? And then that makes sense. He didn't like to see me upset. Then they should be reported to the SPCA for that because the warrant charges you're not allowed to do that with a dog in this province. Well, Cindy B, I think they had a bigger problem on their hands that day. Not saying I like it, but I mean, you can go ahead and report it. What day was Justin crying on the Monday? How you treat animals says a lot. Absolutely. That's all I need to know. She should be charged because if anything I saw in my dreams the first couple weeks, they both need to go to prison because it was bad in my dreams. Oh, I understand. Thank you for explaining. Is that for me? So somebody took a firearm into the woods behind the trailer to put the dog down in an area where children allegedly missing. Can't get any stranger. Don't blame the messenger. Justin cried on Monday. It's not cool. As a mother myself, who the fuck wouldn't die for their kids? Yeah, I approached she did. She told the teacher my mom hates me, or my stepdad hates me, hates Jack. My mom hates me. Please don't make me go home. In the beginning, Malea's half-sister said she would have never been a parent and that she is too lazy to do anything for herself and her mother was still doing everything for her. Can't collect milk money without custody, unfortunately. That's true. If someone gives your kids black eyes, doesn't feed them enough, etc., and you stick around for that, you are a criminal also. You are. And I can't excuse it. I can't even think of a way to smooth the edges of it. Malaya is manipulative and not talking. Just it seemed to me like her prerogative to not talk, but it's not her prerogative to not look for the kids, and it makes sense why she's not putting missing pictures up because she doesn't want to see her kids. She doesn't want to look at them. She doesn't even want to know that the world is looking for her children. I would. I know what you're talking about, and I would. And you know I would. Hey, little black bear. Your children count on you to be their safety net and fuck everyone else, in my opinion, until I know my son's okay. Malaya, what a flop. They probably didn't understand why their mama didn't try. And I said the kids just they they adapt, right? They become not okay with how life is, but it's just their life. But for it to be bad enough for Lily to tell a teacher, please don't make me go home. My mom hates me. My stepdad hates me. That's beyond neglect. That's beyond abuse. If your 6-year-old feels that you hate her, Malaya isn't having a difficult time because the kids are missing. She's having a difficult time because she feels she's getting caught. I agree. Sunny and I and Sunny and Adam did a lot, yes. The point is, though, Dodie, is the stuff that we were doing was you would have to have seen it in real time to understand it. So we were trying to figure out who Bridge Guy was. It's not anything that's going to help you learn more because now we know who Bridge Guy was. Skip ahead, and if you're into trials and stuff, I mean, the only thing you can really do is watch a replay of the replays because there was no cameras in the courtroom. So I'll see what I can find. That's a little bit much, though, Polly Gray. Karen, it's her normal generational issues plus entitlement. Generational issues, yeah, but that's more to me than entitlement. That is sociopathy for sure. Like thousands of dollars and not even on necessities, like her own luxury items that hardworking Canadians don't even afford, like designer clothes and shit that you just don't need to get through your day. But yet the kids didn't have enough food to eat. Right. Who just leaves where their children were allegedly last seen? Well, that I was explained that she was told by the investigators that we're going to find Jack and Lily, and when we do, we will bring them to you wherever you are. So I don't, I get it. If she needed to get away from Daniel, it is whatever. Would I have done it? No, but I get it. If she thought that they were going to find the kids and bring them to her at Cindy's house, that's not in my opinion, that's not a big thing. Thank you so much for helping this case for all of you involved in doing so. We love these kids. And we're so sorry, Lily and Jack. I bet you if like even one local person who's following this case who didn't know them was aware of half of the shit that's going on would have made a world of difference for Jack and Lily. Whether it be making sure things were reported and followed up on, or like who knows. I believe it was mentioned in your chat ages ago, but a van found in New Brunswick with ritualistic disturbing things. But it was hush hush at the time. I praise those dots don't connect. The dots didn't connect, and yeah, my mods were on about a van one night. Truro is the center of dogfighting rings in Nova Scotia. She knows shit, but she don't know how to lie. It's both sickening and sad, the whole ordeal. Like, just let these babies be at peace. I think that's pretty safe to say. Janie's voice makes me wish I was deaf. Thanks, McKibben. They do say like mother, like daughter. And I mean, you're a product of your environment. Like most of us have our learned behavior, how we were raised, nature versus nurture, all of that stuff. But most of us have the intelligence to do better or make better decisions than, or create a better environment than maybe some of our parents' poor decisions put us in. Most of us have that ability to realize we want better for our children. What interviews came out last week? I don't even know about what. Oh, really? Did you see? You didn't see the. So Daniel did his final interview. It was filmed on January 6th, but it wasn't aired until like last week. Um, Cindy Murray did an interview. She didn't show on camera though. Cheryl and Angeline did an interview. They were all basically aired on, I want to say maybe not last week, but it was like February 4th, maybe just a couple of days after the 9-month mark. They were all aired on CBC. Plenty of live streams that went over them at nauseum, like we all did. I heard that Cindy had lost custody of Malaya when she was younger, to Patty. Patty raised Malaya. Patty was always a drinker. Just because Harley is harassing me, you guys, you can't see him. Oh, he's right there. Peekaboo. Anyway, I have to go deal with him, so I'm going to rewind this a little bit and let you guys watch it. It will not take me 4.5 minutes to do what I have to do, but hopefully it won't be buffering, so you'll be able to hear and see it again. And then we're going to move on to the screenshots that I have, okay? So I'm going to go down to the bottom of the chat. If you said anything important, wait till I get back and then say it again, because I'm so far behind. Holy shit. Just a minute, Harley. I'm sorry, you guys. It's been almost like a week since I did a live stream, so I'm out of. I'm out of practice. Okay. I'm gonna mute myself, get rid of this comment, and then mute myself, and then play the video. I will be right back.
All in a room or cat. Gotta be this or that. If it ain't hot, it's soul. If it ain't rock, it's roll. If it ain't wild, it's soul. Gotta be this. Still think for stretch your voice. Handbreaking on the snowflake. I'm waiting many things, but I'm not what you are, baby. Only now do I see the big picture, but I swear the stars are falling. Only you could have had me in this perfect way tonight. I might be blind, but you don't know the difference between mistakes and what you just meant for me. Don't say you ever loved me. Don't say you ever cared. Got the fast start soon. Oh, we gotta get out of here. When you are feeling like you say you love me, don't you lie? Don't cry my heart, don't wanna die. Keep the pistol on my side. Cases fumes. She feel my mind on what I did. I'm not missing. Hoping to make it out of here. He ain't stressing about the loot. I blocked made a case of real. There's nothing about it, it's the blue. Ain't no coming back from here. To the left, to left of me. It's so much game that I can't see it. Turn it up till they can't hear. Running around for the thrill. Yeah, dog, run my reel.
Trees are in green, the ocean is gray, sky is a vague blue, come my way. My room is a mess, it could use a hand. My favorite TV shows are capturing. I know must get it right, must get back in the fight. This can't be a surprise. I think I'll let it slide. Home, sleepwalking through all my problems. I can't make it through. Every night is the same. I keep running fast, left and right, wondering where my past gone now. I'm sleepwalking through all my problems. Where did it go? The feeling of thirst, desire to be, or walking my heels. I'm numb as a poison, flows in my veins. Guess I got used to avoiding the pain. I know my scatter right.
Okay, so let's try this again. Yeah, I have no idea what songs they choose or why they choose them. I don't know if the words have any significant meaning. I can find out for you if you like. But so this screenshot here, am I muted? Okay, good. Um, top here, this is from Angeline. It says, or to Angeline, I'm sorry. So this, I'm not sure who's the one talking to her, but not sure what the top one says, but it says not sure where he got the idea. And Angeline says Hayden, perhaps. Patty was concerned maybe Joey caught wind. Hayden was trying to get his friend to drive him to Dan's so he could kill Dan, Daniel maybe? So maybe Hayden. Oh, I didn't realize he hated Daniel that much. I don't think he did in the beginning. I heard he sent him some messages after the disappearance. Hayden is protective of his family, and whoever this was says, I don't know if that's true. I'm going to continue playing the video.
Must get back in the fight. This can't be a surprise. I think I'll let it slide. Home, sleep.
So Muriel Mackenzie is Daniel's aunt, and she is the YouTube spy behind the lie about the supposed sighting of Daniel, Malaya, and the kids at the Getty's home on May 1st, 2025. Really? That's not who I heard it from, but I mean, long time after the fact, but okay.
Can't make it. Every night is the same. I keep running fast, left and right, wondering where my head's gone. I'm sleepwalking through a
Y'all can go to Monsters of Sabotage and listen to the video. I'm not sure like what the issue is with my sound. I know it's super choppy for me too, but I can't hear things on my side anyways. So maybe I don't know if you can put there's no closed captioning. So yeah, just go over to Monsters of Sabotage and listen to it if you want to know the words of the song. So here we are again. No more supervised visits, no more seeing Meadow for either of them.
Maybe I need a break. Maybe that's why I fade into this bitter taste.
Now, where did we hear? I thought it was in this video. I was told it was in this video, but it's not. Maybe in the last one, but I can't go back and watch it because I'm not going to promote the attack of any individual, and I can't be sure that the previous video didn't single somebody out. So I can't go back and watch it. But I was told, like it's even in my notes, that in the Monsters of Sabotage video, it was discussed that Lily often went to school smelling of urine. And yeah, I feel like I can hear Harley, but I shouldn't. He's outside. But having said that, Harley is outside and it is minus 100 outside. So I do have to go and bring him in eventually. Um, Sooner than later. Will only take me a minute. And just a second. Let's have a look. See. There it is. My bad. Now I have to scroll up because people don't listen. Let me make sure. Okay. So here we go. Stop sharing. Reshare. This was actually public in the uncensored group. So I'm going to leave it here so you guys can read it while I go let Harley in. And then I'll read it out loud. So just give me 2 minutes. So it says, Lily and Jack, people want to know what happened, right? Well, this happened. People saw signs of domestic violence. Malaya chose to live with Monster and turned a blind eye to it. Not all the teachers and educational assistants filed reports with Children's Protective Services. Unfortunately, the CPS that went there in December turned a blind eye. And I understand domestic violence is awful, but Lily and Jack didn't have a voice. They didn't ask to stay with an abuser, and if their mom, Malaya, chose to stay with an abuser, that's her choice, especially after several people were ready to help her get out. My hurt and anger belongs to a system that's supposed to protect children. The teacher and educational assistant did their part, and in this case, I'm shocked no one talks about the failure of CPS, who takes direction from Scott Armstrong, and why there needs, sorry, checking my mute, why there needs to be a public inquiry as to why Lily and Jack were not removed from the horrible abuse and neglect and Baby Meadow would have witnessed so much there. And I'm likely going to get some people angry with my post, but I can't turn a blind eye to the truth. And honestly, if I see or hear children in trouble, I'm calling, I'm intervening, and that's my public duty. Another thing that bothers me, if her two friends were cut off for 2 years, why didn't they ask police to do a wellness check on their friend? And yes, I understand domestic violence is complex and awful. My question is, where is Lily and Jack? They were two innocent children that had no choice to be there. So Malaya had made a choice to stay there, so she owes us answers. Where is Lily and Jack? It's not about her, and I'm sorry she's hurting and sad, but the question is, where are they? Where is Lily and Jack? It's not about her, and I'm sorry she's hurting, blah, blah, blah. Where are they? The system failed them, and I think the worker that went there in December should be fired. My anger lies with anyone who turned a blind eye. Clearly, there were signs Nova Scotia needs to do better, especially if the children's system that is set up to save children is overrun or overworked. Then instead of Scott Armstrong sending RCMP to shut down weed shops, maybe he should send RCMP to rescue children. If you don't like my post, unfriend me. Unfriend me then. Fair. Fair, fair, fair. So here are some of the comments. I wish I could see the bottom. Hopefully this is... When it comes to protecting the safety and innocence of children, we should all be on the same page. No excuses, no looking the other way. There's no middle ground when it comes to kids. Children deserve better from humanity. And Belinda commented 100%. Malaya stated there was never ever mention of pool for kids because it was a made up story. Called that, didn't we? And then somebody named Beethoven said, "Oh, where was this said? Criming shame. I always thought the whole thing about the pool was fabricated." And Anita said, she told myself and her mom because it was a made up story. Yeah. I think two things are notable here. First, who the hell puts a pool in the middle of their driveway when there is nice grass less than 20 feet away? This leads to the second observation. Nothing that was said by anyone on that property on that morning or since can be trusted. Then Anita said, no pool ever mentioned. Malaya said several times. That's the last of the screenshots for today. I said hopefully we'll get more eventually, but what is chat saying? I was only kidding when I said minus the 100. Monsters of Sabotage is a horrible channel, but I give them credit for dropping this info. The rest of their videos have been straight trash. I agree, and I think it was to serve a purpose and a little bit of an ego, and that was fine. It's their prerogative to do so, but it makes it difficult to go back and look at information if you don't want to be part of the attacks on individuals, which I don't want to be, so I won't go back and play anything that I'm not sure isn't directed at somebody not not directly involved in Jack and Lily's disappearance. The more that comes out, the more furious you feel. He was fine, you guys. He's like, he loves it outside. He was making snow angels. I'm not kidding. He loves it. Peeing in the bed is a sign of abuse. It absolutely is. It's so hard to hear these things, but hopefully the truth will be told and people go to prison. It is hard to hear, but when you have information like this and it's firsthand information, in my opinion, it's important. It's absolutely important. People need to know. It's because, like I said, if they can prove any of this or feel like they can prove any of this, then this is more than just simple neglect. This is bad stuff. I never watched anything to do with tarot or mediums before, but a lot of things they've said are pretty accurate, surprisingly. I still can't do it. There's just too much out there on this case for it to be unbiased, untainted, I guess. There's no reason for Meadow to be near her parents. I agree. If no more visits, there's more charges coming for them both. Could be. Welcome, Josiah. This case has to result in an amendment to the Child Protection Act in Nova Scotia. Obviously, the current one is not working. I think the same can be said countrywide, Karen. Yeah, but poor Meadow, an orphan through no fault of her own. By the looks of things, she's pretty well taken care of. But I don't know because let me see, let me think here. That foster home, is that foster home not 2 blocks, either 2 minutes or 2 blocks from Maleah's apartment, which was right beside Michelle's, if I'm not mistaken? It's pretty close, so on the same reservation. Is it possible that they're family? I don't know. And I mean, it's possible that they're not, but it's possible that they are. I believe that Michelle Glasgow's mom is Patty's sister. I've always felt for Lily and Jack, never for anyone else, not even Malaya. She is an adult that made her choice after 2 weeks of knowing Daniel. Those poor children had no choice. I agree. Better an orphan than with abusing parents, especially if you get into the right foster home. So we all need to send Scott Armstrong a letter. I think that that's a great idea. I believe Root Strength is the one that penned the template for the last letter we put a call to action out for. Maybe another template is in order there, Roots. You're very good at it. Better to be an orphan than go missing, presumed dead. It's still sad for her to have such awful care. Yeah. I shared this post. Unfortunately, it was taken down, so thank you again for sharing. Who took it down? Oh, I know. Like my inbox, I'm telling you right now, Chelsea, my inbox is filling up as we speak. And let me just say on the record that I don't care because this is, like I said, first-hand information. This is somebody's observations, and it's important that everything that we can share is shared because the more light, the more transparent this whole thing is, I think I think the better. What did they say? I heard on, I believe it was Pascal's show. It was about Nancy Guthrie, and Nancy Guthrie has been missing for 17 days. Today is day 17. And this is obviously a case out of the United States. And there have been drips of information. Brian Enton he's got his sources and he's getting, I don't even know if you'd call them leaks, but they're getting information. Maybe not every day, but every other day. And there's lots of speculation and rumors and the rest of it. But try doing that for 9.5 months, right? And Pascal, my point of saying that was he was saying yesterday, like, idle hands are the devil's playground. So when you have no information coming out and only speculation and rumors, then you're literally left with speculation and rumors that grow like the telephone game on steroids. And that's where we got to where we are today. So when you have firsthand information, somebody's perspective on what they saw and experienced with their own eyes and ears, it's important to share. Because even if it is just their perception of certain situations, they still saw it with their own two eyes and heard it with their own two ears. That matters more to me than all the shit Daniel said all along and all the shit that Malaya has never said. As somebody who was there, who sees it, who hears it, and who's willing to talk about it, that's more important than any of the shit that we're getting. So y'all can be mad at me all you want. Don't care. What are you going to do? Talk about me in other chats? Don't care. Yes, poor Meadow, but she will adjust to her new home. I think she's adjusted quite well, Jody. They will put Meadow up for adoption. Now, going back to what Daniel told me a few months ago, he said something about, let me think, the trying to decipher what jurisdiction the custody issue was going to be under, either the First Nations jurisdiction or provincial. That process, he said, would take 18 months, and then the custody would be another 18 months. So you're looking at, as far as Daniel told me, a year and a half before the court would even be done with the custody issue. So they're barely getting started in that, and that has to be resolved before she would be put up for adoption. Of course, unless they're both in prison. Imagine her life story. I hope things settle down for her throughout her life. And that's why I think it's important that we respect the baby and use her name as little as possible. So that when she is older and she does maybe go looking for her roots or whatever, she doesn't happen upon all of this horrible information. Didn't Angeline say they were talking? I don't think she was cut off. Yeah, I think that, and early on, we heard that Malaya had kept one friend through like her basically her whole life, and that one person that she kept in contact with was Angeline. Second chance at a possible good life, yeah. Lily and Jack saved the baby. She's 100% right in what she wrote there. I think she spoke what we all feel. Right. Hey, Missy. Yeah. 18 years ago, I had to call CPS 6 times to have my granddaughter removed from her mother. You sometimes have to hound CPS to get results. And I think that most of us here would until we saw, and if you see something like Dodie says, you call it over and over again because you don't notice any improvement. There's no positive change going on. So you call again and you call again and you call again. The case of Gabriel Fernandez in the States, heartbreaking. It's a whole ass documentary on Netflix. But his teacher called over and over and over again. The police even went over there over and over and over again, and that poor boy was still abused to death. That's what went wrong. Nobody cared enough. It's the way, and I don't know, because obviously I wasn't there, but it seems to me like this is the way life is with these people. Abuse, mistreatment, neglect, kids left to their own devices, far too young, um, seems to be kind of the way. You can't sue a system that you refuse to use. She knew and did not report it, so she's just as much to blame. She'll win nothing. I agree with that. They need to look in areas where people ain't allowed, but people can sneak on and hide stuff. We don't know. Or at least I don't know. What about the people who read the stuff before anything came out, though? What do you mean? Read what stuff? I kept telling myself all of the terrible theories in my head are too horrible and there has to be a major or a more simple explanation. Now I just cannot fathom what happened to those poor babies. The phonics make the authentic people look bad. It's unfortunate. It takes something really bad to lose supervised visits. And if it was just Daniel who lost his supervised visits, it would be easy for us to chalk it up and say, well, it's because of his charges and his upcoming hearing. Or maybe it's because of drug use. But because it's both of them, it makes me wonder, the fuck? I heard it's a family member who is foster care for Meadow. That's why I brought it up. Perfect. If you want to do that, I'll post it on the community page. I have a hunch whatever she's awarded, she will just filter through her liver anyways. Is Cindy a heavy drinker too? I don't know. Are you locals planning on having signage on March 2nd? Loud voices for Jack and Lily? Some kind of a demonstration, peaceful protest, just choosing the right spot to do it. Okay, so how would they get any money out of this? Because I don't think family is eligible for a reward. So what are you thinking? Selling the story or like I don't understand how they would make money off of this. Irregardless, Malaya will end up with a slap on the wrist. In my opinion, Daniel is the one going to get the book thrown at him. Why take away visits with Malaya unless there's something more there? I agree. No way should any child be in their custody ever again. Look at Carla Homolka, like one of the worst of the worst. She served her sentence, all 12 years of it, and was able to go and have more kids. And I think probably around the same age as Malaya is when she started serving her time. In her 20s for sure. One can hope. You're talking about Malaya's hospital stay? Pretty sure she had day passes. I'm not positive on that, but if she had day passes, she was either medicated or not deemed to be a danger to herself. Countryside, good to see you. Hey, Patriot Girl. If Malaya wanted to stay in that nasty, abusive house, she should have given Lily and Jack to people that love them, people that wanted to care for them. Belinda would have totally helped. Yeah. And by the sounds of things, Patty even wanted her to leave the kids there. Everybody in Nova Scotia at least has a duty to report. Pretty across the country. There's so many people that cannot have children, people that want a baby. It's heartbreaking. Yeah, she did have day passes. Even if mentally unstable, she wouldn't lose supervised visits, only if they deemed her a risk to Meadow or herself. And even then, most likely wouldn't discontinue visits as it could make her mental health worse. I'm not muted, Corbin. My granddaughter almost cut her fingers off trying to make something to eat. She was 3. My God. Not criminally responsible means at the time of the crime. And there's nothing to prove that. Nothing. I really don't think Malaya was abused. I never seen any bruises on her like those poor kids had. I don't know. I wasn't there. I saw a young boy in a thrift shop, uncombed hair, black under the fingernails, dirty shirt buttoned up wrong. Should I report to CPS? I didn't. Like, isn't that the question though? And I asked that the last stream when we were talking about CPS and bruises and all that stuff. What do you do? And I'm asking seriously, like, what is the right thing to do in that situation? Is it just a kid who's living his best life, gets to dress himself? Maybe just came in from outside when, it was time to go? Bruise is a different thing, but unkept, I don't know what the right thing to do is. Tinky, thanks for being here. Have a good sleep. Malaya and Daniel were both abusing Jack and Lily. They found her pacemaker? Oh, they didn't. Did they? 2:15. We're gonna switch gears pretty soon. I don't know if I should stop this one and start another. That's a real, like, if you're talking about Malaya, that's a possibility. Missy, thank you so much. Yes, Harley's in the house. I don't know where, but he's in the house. I had to stop him. He was out there making snow angels. He loves it out there. When I went to oncology, a guy was abusing his kid. I found the hospital officer and reported it. Ask the kid if they need help. But if the parents are there, would that put the kid in a situation where if he did say something and the parent took him, that, like, I don't know what the right answer is with that. You know what I mean? I don't know. All right. You guys, I'm going to switch gears. If you have any more questions or comments about Lily and Jack, feel free. But apparently, there's some kind of breaking news or something in Nancy's case. So let's have a look. I'm going to see what Brian Enton has to say because Brian is the guy. He's the dude. Don't want to do JLR. I don't want to do that either. Gonna look for Brian. And then I'm actually gonna go to X because X. Because he posts quite regularly on his X. And just a minute. Brian Enton. I'm gonna pull up my X so we can read it together. This one. Oh, Pete's sake. Okay, there we go. Just sat down with the Pima County Sheriff. He says they still don't have the video from Nancy's other cameras, and it's in the hands of Google now. And then 3 hours ago, as suspected, they will use investigative genetic genealogy in Nancy Guthrie investigation because we know that the DNA from the glove came back and was loaded into CODIS, and they did not find a match. And then 2 men showed up to Nancy Guthrie's house. Deputies let them through. One had a briefcase. I did watch that live. And they went to the back of the house. No clue what they were talking about. Um, hmm. I don't see anything about them finding the pacemaker, and usually Brian's on top of it. So let me unshare for a second so I can hop over to YouTube. Heh. Share screen, share audio. And we're just going to watch some of his shorts for a couple of minutes and see what Brian has to say.
Guys, so an update here from Nancy Guthrie's house. There are 2 people who showed up, one in a pickup truck and one in a Subaru. The sheriff's deputies let them through, and they went to the back of the house. One of the men was holding a briefcase. and we could see them go to the back of the house, and then we could see with our drone that they went inside the house. I'm not sure why. We don't know who they are. There was no markings on the car. It does not appear that they are law enforcement, but the deputies here obviously knew that they were coming because they let them through and they let them go to the back of the house. So I haven't seen that happen before. I don't know if it's like someone that the family sent over to get something out of the house. That kind of occurred to me. Maybe a private investigator, something like that. I don't know. But it was just something that I haven't seen happen before. And one of them is actually still here at the house right now. So I'll keep an eye on it. Obviously, the big development now has been from the sheriff's office saying that, that there's no DNA matches in CODIS at this point. So I'll keep you guys posted if anything else develops. Hey guys, so an update here from Nancy Guthrie. Hey guys, so a pretty significant update here when it comes to the Nancy Guthrie investigation. The sheriff's office confirming that they put the DNA now from the gloves that were found about 2 miles from Nancy's house into the CODIS system, which is the DNA FBI database, and that there was no matches, and that they've also put other DNA into the CODIS database related to the Nancy Guthrie investigation, and that also has not come up with a match, which is disappointing news, especially because I was hoping that maybe the DNA found inside Nancy's house might match something, and at this point, no matches. So that just came from the sheriff's office. Again, that's not what we were hoping to hear. A few other things with Nancy's pacemaker. They confirmed that they're attempting to locate the device and are working with the manufacturer and other experts to assist in that effort. Remember, I told you guys about the signal sniffer they were using. They're still working with Walmart management to identify and isolate the individual who purchased the backpack, because we know the backpack came from there. And also a new line in their latest state release about the Guthrie family. This is from the sheriff again. They say, in criminal investigations, evidence is examined to either build a case or clear individuals. At this point in the investigation, the Guthrie family, including siblings and spouses, has not been identified as suspects. So a little bit different from the statement that the sheriff put out yesterday, but essentially the same thing. So that's the latest. Again, it's kind of not the news we're hoping for when it comes to the CODIS database. Hey guys, so a pretty significant update. Hey guys, just wanted to check in. It is Tuesday morning. I'm in Nancy Guthrie's neighborhood right now, working on a couple of leads. Hopefully I'll have some new information for you later this afternoon with some stuff that I'm working on. But no significant developments today from the Pima County Sheriff's Office. We don't know of any briefings that are going to be happening. I obviously reported last night to you what I learned about the gun shops, which I'm still trying to get more information on. But I do know that the FBI went to several gun shops in Tucson and had 40 names and 40 photos that they showed the employees, trying to see if those people had been at the gun shop or had purchased a weapon. So a lot of people are like, well, what are the names? I mean, obviously we're very careful about what we report here. So, but I am trying to dig a little more and get a little more on that front. And that's pretty much it right now. I will keep you guys posted as the day develops. Again, I might have a few solid things that I'm working on today. So I'll let you guys know. All right, bye. Oh, but it also rained a ton this morning. I mean,
So that's interesting. So no match in CODIS, and from my understanding, there's like thousands of names in CODIS. Like I can't say hundreds of thousands, but tens of thousands of names in CODIS. So if no matches, that's kind of a big deal. However, if it is, so so TMZ. Do you guys ever watch what TMZ? Oh, I just shared that, Gren. It's from Friday. The TMZ stuff, like that TMZ has been getting um not ransom notes, but notes from a guy who says he knows that he saw Nancy Guthrie in Mexico with the kidnappers, and basically knows who the kidnappers are and is asking for money. Are you guys aware of this? Okay, so As of late 2025, early 2026, the National DNA Index, the um, system within CODIS, contains over 22 million total DNA profiles. That is insane. That's crazy. As of November 2025, the NDIS holds over 19.2 million offender, 6.1 million arrestee, and 1.4 million forensic samples. That's crazy. I don't know if I want to do TMZ on YouTube. I don't think I do TMZ. I don't want that one. Let's just go here. He's probably got it straight on his main page. Live stream, whatever. I don't see anything. Drat, we're gonna have to go YouTube TMZ. So this is 6 hours ago. I think I'm gonna do this first one from like yesterday first because I've seen them, so I want you guys to listen to this one first.
Is Monday morning, we have received a fourth letter from the same person who says that he knows where Nancy Guthrie is and he wants money in return for the information. Essentially, he wants the reward. So I have something to say to you. Um, and I've already talked to the FBI about this, that if you are not real, you're committing a crime, and you should know that. And this is a serious federal crime. If you are real, this is the fourth letter you've sent, and I should tell everybody that in this letter, it says, I know what I saw 5 days ago south of the border, and I was told to shut up, so I know who he is, and that was definitely Nancy with them. This is the second time he has referred to more than one person involved in this. He said there is a main person and there are others, and he said it here. He is saying that Nancy was taken to Mexico. Now, this is what he's saying. I'm not going to vouch for him, but this is the fourth letter. We have sent them all on to the FBI. And he also says one of the reasons he's worried about coming forward is he has a record. He has a burglary on his record from 10 years ago. So I don't know if you're real or not if you're watching this, but if you are, and I have told the FBI that we're going to do this, they know this, that if you're worried about getting this money, and you really do have this information, send it to us. You're sending us these letters. Send it to us. We will forward it to the FBI. And that way there's a record that we have that you supplied this information. If they find her and they find the kidnapper, then at least there is evidence, because we have it, that you're the one who provided the information. So this is a way for you to get that money if this really is legitimate. Send us the information. We will pass it on to the FBI. Okay, that said, couple of points. One is the glove. I hope that glove has DNA that leads authorities to this kidnapper. But it is weird to me because if somebody is at that house and they take Nancy and
they get in a car to drive off, the first thing they're going to do is take the gloves off because it's real hard to drive with gloves like that. And if the gloves go off and they're placed in the car, how does it end up 2 miles away on the side of the road? It just is weird. It just is OJ-esque and doesn't make sense. And the other thing is that, there are different theories here about, was this a burglary? Was this a ransom? As you know, we and several others have received ransom notes, and the FBI is keenly interested in these notes. I can tell you that. This seems a weird type of burglary because if it were a burglary, number one, why would somebody be dressed head to toe that way? And number two, if it's a burglary and somebody wants to go in and root around for jewelry or whatever, it would seem to be difficult opening drawers and grabbing things with gloves like that. And if you take the gloves off, then you're going to put your fingerprints on something. So what's the point of gloves in the first place?
I would like to say, we're going to watch a different one, but I would like to say that according to Vinnie Politan, a burglary is simply the act of basically breaking and entering with the intent of committing a felony. So a felony isn't always just stealing something. And also allegedly the whole, I can't remember how it was put, but law enforcement was going off of the assumption now, or the idea that it was a burglary gone wrong. Apparently that was reported by one local media outlet. It's not being reported by the sheriff's department, Brian Enton, or anyone else. In fact, I believe Brian Enton spoke about that on JB Live. He does that live streaming, whatever. So I don't think that that's legitimate either. But for now, I want to watch the second one, and then we'll look for any other updates, and then we'll talk a little bit about Tumblr Ridge. So.
We have some developments in the Nancy Guthrie kidnapping case. First of all, the testing of that glove, the DNA testing in Florida, is complete. Now, that doesn't answer the questions about whose DNA is it and are they connected to this kidnapping? Because under federal law, the glove has to be tested in the state where the glove is found. That is the requirement that the FBI has before they.
Melissa, TMZ, they haven't been striking people over this case. I believe if they're playing their content constantly, that's one thing, but this is on their news site, so they haven't striked anybody yet, and I've played TMZ before. I'm not concerned. And if they strike me, I'm okay, whatever.
Can put it in the CODIS system. CODIS is Combined DNA Intake System. That has 27 million DNA profiles. And in order to check out the DNA in that system, in the CODIS system, the glove has to be tested in the state where it was found, and that is Arizona. That glove, we're told, is in Arizona right now. This is called a PCR test. It's the most sophisticated DNA test. It's the gold standard. Usually takes just a day to get the results. We are told that in the next 24 hours, once that glove is tested and the results are in, that profile will go into the CODIS system. So that should be resolved within 24 hours and maybe sooner. Now, we are also told, and I think this is really interesting, that the glove that was tested is not the glove that the New York Post found. It is a different glove. So up to this point, everybody, and really us included, we assumed that was the glove. We are now told by people connected to this, it is not the glove. It is a different glove that authorities found. 2 miles from Nancy's house. Now, something else that we have learned. There are stories out there that gun shops have been given around 40 names of people that the FBI wanted to check to see if people bought a certain type of gun, namely the gun that was in the holster of the presumed kidnapper. We told you this is a semi-automatic handgun. So the what we found out is that they have already checked out the holster to see who has bought a similar holster in that area. And the names that were given to the gun shops are people who actually bought that type of holster. And it's not like those people are all people of interest, but what they want to find is, did somebody both buy a holster like that and buy a gun like that? And then all of a sudden, they're going to be real interested in that person. So that is why the FBI is checking out gun shops in that area. Final thing I want to say is that the man who has been sending us emails demanding to know and demanding money in return for information leading to the identity of the kidnapper and the location of Nancy Guthrie. We have received now numerous letters from this person. We are not going to talk about this person anymore because if I tell you that he sent us another letter but didn't give us the information, and I keep telling you he sent us another letter and another letter, then suddenly when I stop, everybody's going to figure out, oh, he must have finally given the information, and that could screw up the investigation because that information is going to go immediately to the FBI, and then they're going to do their thing. So by definition, if we keep saying, we got another one, we got another one, we got another one, and all of a sudden we say we're not going to talk, you're going to figure out that means he just gave it up, and it could then tip off the kidnapper. So we're not going to say anything more unless and until we get that information and pass it on to the FBI. And at some point, then we will let you.
What do you guys think about this emailer? Do you think he's legit? I wonder um myself about how if I was like a millionaire,
Hey guys, just wanted
if I was a millionaire and I wanted to see if this guy was legit, would would I front the was it 50 grand to get the information? You pay the 50 grand, get the information, because wouldn't it be like not that people would be in it for the reward, but do you know what I mean? Like if you did that, if you gave 50 grand, it gave you the information, you hand that information over to the FBI, and if that information finds Nancy, then Nancy gets to come home, but then the rich guy would get the reward, right? And then pay the other guy whatever. Whatever. I don't know. I don't know. Would you do it? I think I would. Yeah, I didn't have my mute, or yeah, I didn't have my mic mute. TMZ definitely has to be taken with a grain of salt. And to me, right now, like this stuff that they're reporting on, simply reporting on the emails that they're getting. And now that they've come out and said we're no longer going to report on these emails, I don't see a value in watching the TMZ. You know, the only reason why I wanted to watch these clips is because of the information he had about the emails. That's it. I don't support. I don't support. I agree. I don't think she's across the border. I don't think that those emails should be given much weight, though TMC says that the FBI is very interested in them. Follow the money. That's kind of what I'm thinking, in that if I had the money to pay 50 grand to get the information to bring Nancy home, or at least answers for her family, I think I would do it, even if it is through TMZ. I just think I would do it. Maybe it was a robbery. Maybe they were looking for information like a hard drive or some kind of files or whatever, and they didn't think Miss Nancy was home. Maybe. But what kind of files or computer would an 84-year-old have? I don't know. I think he's got a hell of an ego. That's my thoughts. I don't believe that to be true about testing a glove in the state it was found. Well, it's obviously not true because they sent it to Florida. We were told that it was sent to Florida on Saturday. So they got it by Sunday, and in 24 hours from then, it would take them to test, and then it would take another 24 hours to upload to CODIS. So that would bring us right till about this morning, wouldn't it? So it didn't have to be, because early on this morning when I was driving, I heard that they had to send it now to Arizona to be tested in that state before it would be uploaded to CODIS. But the very next thing I heard was that, oh, no match. So I don't think that that was true. My dog, his name is Harley, and he doesn't need a milk bone. Yeah, yeah, me too. Pay him the 50, get the information, submit the information if Nancy comes home, or if she's found and the family has some answers. I think it's worth 50 grand. I do. Even if you didn't get the reward, if you had the money, I think it'd be worth it. To me. What do you want to watch now? Do you want to see? Let's let's have a look see at what JLR is looking at. It's probably the same sheriff's truck that he's been looking at all day. We'll just have a look.
That's the sky right here. Yeah, well.
28,000 watching JLR look at a bunch of media vehicles right now. It's got to be the life, eh? It's a pretty view though. So nice. Um, let's look for just Nancy Guthrie, shall we? And then we'll quickly move on to Tumbler Ridge because there's some updates. We just watched that. It's a short. Nancy Guthrie kidnapping, FBI analyze glove DNA identity. Nope. 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 I don't see anything updated, you guys. Here's a 5-minute one from News Nation with Brian Enton. We'll watch that, and then we're going to move over to Tumbler Ridge, okay?
We're joined now by Chip Massey, who's a retired FBI hostage negotiator. He's here with me in the studio in New York. And of course, Geraldo Rivera joins in as well at this hour, News Nation's correspondent at large. Chip, good to see you again. Geraldo, start us off on the headline of the day. I mean, like we had built it up so much in our reporting and our conversations. Oh, maybe there'll be a DNA match on these gloves, but apparently not. How much of a setback do you think that is?
Well, it's obviously a disappointment, a bitter disappointment. We expect, and I still expect, forensics, Connell, to solve this case. But I think the biggest story of the day, and I do believe that it's still underreported by media generally, is that the no match goes, to corroborate what I'm about to say. The 3 children of Nancy Guthrie have now all been cleared.
Yep.
The children and their spouses are innocent. They are not guilty. And I don't think there's been enough concentration on that point. They've been, in many ways, smeared. Some of it, obviously, necessarily as the probe took place. But now we look back between the alibis, the old-fashioned way, and the DNA. The sheriff was confident enough to say, quote, the family has been nothing but cooperative and gracious. And the sheriff goes on to say that they are victims. They are not perpetrators. And I think that the media, we all have a responsibility to emphasize that point. I think also the appeal, Connell, Savannah's appeal on Sunday was something that people should take another look at and look at the cost that this crime has had on the family of Nancy Guthrie. Savannah's face is etched in misery as she pleads to to do the right thing to the kidnappers. So that's where I stand. It's very melancholy, the state of play in this, but they hold out hope. Yes, or no, there was no DNA match, but that doesn't mean with all this genealogical DNA, the genetic testing and so forth, there's still technology to be deployed, and I still have hope, Connell.
That, one of the things that brings up, Geraldo, and I'll come back to Chip, who's here in the studio with me, is that if, and you should weigh in as well on your reaction to the no match and the DNA, which is the headline of the day. It was about 24 hours ago. It was Geraldo's point. We were talking about it this time yesterday, that the family was cleared. Again, like he said, that's a big headline. But the plea, that personal plea from Savannah Guthrie was very, very personal. I know you've dealt with the psychology of criminal minds in your career. You wonder if they can be appealed to, whoever's out there in that way, that the person seeing that might actually say, all right, you know what, maybe I should do the quote unquote right thing.
Well, that's certainly the hope, right? Exactly. And like Geraldo said, that you see in her face, you see the anguish, you see the pain that they've been through. I mean, it is a hell. And so the fact that Savannah's there saying you can still do the right thing, that's, there is a connection that she is trying to establish here. And that needs to be picked up by the captor. The other thing about this is that, what's so great, like Geraldo referred to, is that we have so many leads coming in.
Yeah.
So much is coming in from the American people. And that's what's so important, because we can lose sight, with the whole thing of misinformation, let's focus on the family. Well, let's focus on, what DNA didn't result in. Let's focus in on what we know. Let's stay on the facts. And if the American people stay on that, we're going to get some better leads.
Do those facts include, or do you exclude, your background as a hostage negotiator? I'll get Geraldo in on this in a moment, but I'll just stick with you, Chip, for now. These notes that have come in to TMZ, I think there's 4 of them now. Like Chris Cuomo had Harvey Levitt on last night talking about it, and what stands out? Well, the idea that this guy in the last note claims that he saw Nancy with them, and it was south of the border and all that kind of stuff. You see it on the last one on February 16th. So do you, when you say stick to the facts, talk about what's coming in, is this part of it, or is this something with your experience you say, I don't think so?
That's for the investigators to suss out, and for the family to see what is and what is not able to be verifiable. So important. But what's great is family off the board now.
Yeah.
More resources are able to be focused on these other lanes that are going to yield more investigative results and tips. Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our News Nation app right now on your phone, and you will.
Chris Cuomo scares me every time because he jumps in there. So I have a question, mostly for my American viewers. Does law enforcement typically deploy the SWAT team to conduct a search warrant or to question a person of interest? Because that's twice they've done that. And the first time with Carlos, we know Carlos was released. And I believe the people from Friday night were also released, but we're told to not dismiss all that yet, but still seems like kind of a big public ordeal for just questioning a person of interest. Does that happen often? I'm not sure. And I feel like my um chat freezes up. So just so you know, I haven't seen anything come through for quite some time. Look at your hand on Harley's head. Oh my gosh, huge, huge, good boy. He is massive. He was 140 pounds when we moved here. I think we're probably both at least 5 pounds, if not more, heavier. In my opinion, I don't think all those YouTubers should be there. What if she's close? Would you come out of your house to collect money? I see both sides of it. I think that as long as they're being honest and fair with their reporting, I think that there's value to having YouTubers there. We're getting round the clock updates, and if it wasn't for them, we would get the nightly news updates. So I said there's good and bad. As long as they're being responsible about their reporting, I'm all for it. It's unfortunate that Dolly saw what he saw the other day, but it's also unfortunate he reported it as, from my understanding, PJ was sending him updates on his phone, right? So he had heard that somebody had died due to a self-inflicted gunshot, and then ran up on this scene where there was a man on the ground whose head was not in good condition. So he wrongly assumed that that was the gunshot victim and said that on his live stream, and I heard that. So automatically you think that he saw what he saw, he knows what he knows, and we're hearing this story about the gunshot. So, but come to find out, unfortunately, there was an unrelated incident, a hit and run, where a man was run over and then hit a second time, and that is what Dolly saw. So it's still unfortunate he saw what he saw, but it's also unfortunate that just the way it all unfolded caused him to wrongly report something that caught fire. It did. It grew legs. Nancy lived in a lovely spot. Some sewer rat did this. She must be terrified. Absolutely. I can't imagine 84 years. She's lived an 84 good years looking at her kids. They're successful. And to have something like this happen in her twilight years is heartbreaking. And then another thing that I wanted to say too, now the sheriff came out and said, the family has been cleared at this point, and to speculate anything other than that is not only irresponsible but cruel. I agree, but let's keep in mind that just, and I'm not saying this is fact, but just because the sheriff said the family, including spouses, have been cleared, that to me, that just means as donors for the DNA that was in the glove, right? How can they possibly clear anybody of any involvement if they have no idea what happened? And we don't know if the sheriff says they haven't collected any more video yet, but did the rear entrance was it a forced entry from the back door? Did the cameras pick up another person there? Did the cameras pick up them leaving with Nancy? Did she leave on her own 2 feet? Um, you know, I would like to think that before saying something like that, they would have proof or knowledge of what actually happened. But I also feel like, I don't know, I don't think I don't know. I don't think that unless they know what happened, I don't think they can say who's cleared and who's not unless they have an alibi. What are you guys talking about? Maybe if they quit making this so public because someone is rich, this would be over. Nancy was a spokesperson. Yes. Okay. I went backwards. Oops. It's because my chat froze. That's funny, you guys. Where did you send it? Depends on where you sent it. If you sent it to my True Crime Story Pod Facebook Messenger, it takes too much to get out of, so I don't open it. Is anyone else having issues with YouTube? Mine won't load certain creators I've subscribed to. Oh. But this doesn't seem like it's been high risk, AJ. Like you've got a mom and apparently a son who surrendered willingly, and you've got a traffic stop which went off without a hitch. So what made it high risk? I don't know. It seems like a lot. Dolly didn't show that he wasn't sure if he caught it on his live stream. He was live when he ran up to the scene. He wasn't 100% sure if the live stream caught the body. But when he got back to the car, he basically told PJ to take the stream down. Like he ended the stream and he told PJ to take the stream down. And then he started a new one just saying, wow, this is what I just saw. And then he removed both those streams. He, I believe, made a community post. And the next thing we heard was later that night when Dolly was at home and I think it was either later that night or the next morning where he went live again and he showed, or he didn't show, sorry, he explained what he saw and what happened to the video and all that stuff. But he definitely took the video down right away just because he didn't know if he caught it on the live stream or not. So it was immediately removed. So he did nothing wrong. You're fine. Yeah, he didn't show it. He didn't show any of it. But as for Nancy, I don't think we have anything. We know the backpack is an Ozark 25-liter backpack bought at Walmart. Oh, and they're saying that the gun holster was bought at Walmart. So they're thinking they've gone to gun stores and stuff with a list of 40 names to see if they've bought a gun recently or ammo, which is good, which obviously they should do. But my thought is if it was just a semi-auto, wouldn't it make more sense that he already had that weapon and decided because of what he was going to do, he needed a holster and went to Walmart and picked up that holster, even though it was the complete wrong holster for that weapon? I don't know. Just my opinion. He shut the live off and removed the video. Yeah, it's gone. But like I said, when you do that, and I've done that too, or I've taken a video down, it's not gone anywhere, it's private. So I still have access to what I've taken down from public view. So he could go and see if he caught that on and then put the video back up just to show the complete chaos because he was getting his information from updates both from PJ but also from his chat. So there was mass confusion that night on YouTube. Meanwhile, Brian Enton is sitting in the dark inside the secured area, being quiet and unnoticed by law enforcement, and was very secretive about where he was for that reason. They could, if they're already criminals, gun charges, drug charges. Oh, fair enough. Then Dolly states he never said that. I heard him say it too. He did say that. He absolutely did say that. He absolutely did say that. Yeah, no one is cleared. Sheriff's an idiot. True, but it's also high profile. He doesn't need a bone. It's his supper time in like 20 minutes. He's fine. Comment page. Okay. Like on my community on YouTube. Or maybe he bought a BB gun pistol at Walmart too. Could have. Thanks, Marie. Gun holster didn't even fit the gun clearly. Uneducated on firearms and holster. Also, how to place a holster like that. If he has a treat right now, he won't eat his supper, you guys. He's not starving. He's 140 some pounds. All right. I will go and check. Just a sec. I will go and check the community page, which is usually I'm pretty good at getting the messages from the community page, but nope. Don't see anything. Last thing posted was by me 5 days ago. It's not there. Sorry. See what? Harley is bigger than Honey Boo Boo. Listen, he's got me trained, okay? He goes outside, he comes in, he gets a treat. So now we've got this thing where anytime he feels like he deserves a treat, he bugs me to go outside because he knows when he comes in, he gets a treat. You guys know he was just outside, he just came in, he just had a treat. He's fine. He will ruin his supper. Stop it. One more chance for Brian to give us an update. If not, then we're moving on to Tumbler Ridge. And then my dog is so hungry. He's going to starve to death. Nothing new. Get rid of that. Nothing new. See that? He laid down. You guys can't even see him. He gave up. No, you can't see him. He's laying right here beside me. Okay. Now, like I was saying before, there are some updates with Tumbler Ridge. And I do want to watch a few of them. Presents. Okay, we're just gonna watch a few of them. I'm gonna mute and do this.
It's a harrowing account from a 12-year-old child.
I went into the bathroom stall, locked the door, and hid in there.
That's what Maddie Mansky and a friend did when they heard what sounded like gunfire erupt in their school.
I was texting my mom and her best friend and everybody that I could, and my friend was just staying there, being quiet.
Maddie was inside Tumbler Ridge Secondary last Tuesday when an armed teen entered and fatally shot 5 students and an education assistant. Most of the victims were in the library where Maddie was supposed to be if she hadn't gone to the bathroom.
There was loud bangs. It didn't sound like gunshots. The only reason I knew it was a gunshot was because I could hear the shells falling. And there were kids screaming everywhere. And it was just scary.
She says she spent 2 hours inside the bathroom, scared and worried. Eventually, police kicked down the door and escorted her and her friend out, which is when she saw the shooter's body.
I had to go down the stairs where the guy was dead. so I had to walk past him to go out.
Most of the victims were her friends. She says Ezekiel Schofield would always make her laugh when she was upset. Kylie Smith was always joking around and would never hurt anyone, while Takaria Lampert was one of her best friends. Sadly, the two got in a fight the day of the shooting.
I never got to say sorry. She always made everybody smile and everything.
Maddie says she's still trying to process everything and is taking things day by day. Staying off social media and talking with family has helped. While politicians and school leaders have said students won't be expected to return to the building, Maddie feels otherwise.
I want the school to stay because even though the parents are scared and the kids are, us kids need to know that we're going to be safe and that it's most likely not going to happen again. And that we need to face our fears. And the parents need to put their fear aside.
For now, there will be no school at all in the community for at least another week. In Tumbler Ridge, Monica Gould, City News.
What a brave, brave child. Everybody's scared to go back to school, understandably, and this kid's like, no, we need to do this. This is okay. I wonder if this is the right one. There was a story that I watched the other night. Bear with me, okay? I'm gonna go into my history because last night I watched one and I'm telling you, I cried. I cried. Because it was an update. Did I watch it on here? I think I did. It's about the victim who is in the hospital still, Maya. I think this is going to be it here. I hope this is it. But I literally, I cried my eyes out. But that's right, you guys. Just let's watch this.
To the families that have suffered this devastating tragedy. Know that we stand with you.
And to lose a child is like getting your heart ripped out.
It's about our children. It's a difficult time for all of us, and we'll get through it.
This nation and many of the world's leaders, including their majesties, the King and Queen, stand behind you. But I encourage you to lean on each other, to listen to one another.
I know that nothing I can say will bring your children home.
We are a nation with a broken heart, but we are also a nation with open arms. And those arms wrap all of the people of Tumbler Ridge.
In the darkness and the horror of that day are also in the response of the students in that class, the seeds of what will ensure Tumbler Ridge's recovery ultimately from this horrific moment that we're in.
You held each other as you're holding each other right now. This is grace. We don't just give grace, we receive grace. Grace from Kylie, Ezekiel, Zoe, Tiki, Abel, Shonda. Grace that fills this community, this extended family, gathering in the cold and holding candles for all of your children.
We are family.
Right now, in a Vancouver hospital, Maya Gabala is fighting for her life. The 12-year-old was shot in the head and neck at Tumbler Ridge. And Thursday night, Maya's parents took time away from her bedside to share their story. And a warning, some of what you're about to hear is disturbing.
Maya's the most charismatic, energetic person that you would ever meet. I feel like I'm living in a nightmare right now that I just can't wake up from. To be honest, I don't know how to feel. Uh, Seeing your child like that in the hospital bed, like it's I've lost for words on it. I'm trying the best I can. Um, she is getting better. I feel like she's getting better. The energy is there, and she's amazing. She's incredible. Nobody knows her like me and her mom know her. She's an incredible human being. She's strong. And if anybody's gonna make it out of this, it's definitely gonna be her.
There's a group of parents parked in the rec center parking lot that's adjacent from the high school, so you can see there. And I walked up to one of Maya's best friends' dad, who showed me a text message, and he was in the building at the time, and he says, "Dad, I'm fine." And I said, "Ask him how Maya is." And then he shows me again, and it says, "Maya's been dragged out, and I believe she's been shot." And so I ran to my truck, and I took off to the emergency, and I ran in the back. And I ran into the emergency room, and there's a glass window in the reception, and then another glass window where the emergency room is. And between two posters, I saw about 2 inches and these Minecraft boxes she just got from her hockey tournament that she was so excited to have. And I could see those with her bra being cut off. And I said, "That's my baby in there." And I said, "Somebody's going to let me see my baby." And they said, "Well, we haven't identified anybody and you got to sit down." I said, "I know for a fact that's my baby." And it was, oh, I can't even tell you what the time was before they actually let me see her. Just today now, with that, they've cleaned all the dried blood off her face. There's a bullet that went through her earlobe, and then through the head and out the back. And then one was stuck in her throat. I still don't know if they found that one, but there is brain stem damage, they believe, which is why her pupils aren't dilating. And they said that the bone caused from the impact into her skull is what shredded its way through her brain. So they cut off the skull to relieve the pressure, which just magnified it. So they had told us there's nothing that we can do. And she had moments. The first night that she had moments. So lay with her. And it's almost been 48 hours and she's she's still fighting. She's so strong. She's the one that, like, in practice, she'll double back and walk her coach off the ice because she slipped once and she doesn't want her to fall again. So as far as they were telling me last night, they said the best case scenario is that she's going to be tube fed and hospitalized for the rest of her life if you continue to try to let her live. And I just kept telling them that there's no way, I can feel it in my heart that she's coming back. Today she moved, and it was a movement that they said that they hadn't seen because didn't have a gag reflex. She didn't have, her pupils aren't dilating. So, and she's not coughing. I have to say that, like, I am so incredibly grateful that we have hope. We do have something that a lot of the parents don't have, and we haven't been a part of the community because we came here. But there's the kids that are gonna experience just this wave, this ripple of sadness and memories of something so horrific. We're lucky to have we're getting thousands of messages a day, people from Switzerland and the UK, and everybody's praying for Maya.
Right now, we're happy to say that she has movement. Like she was moving her left hand. She raised her left hand. She lifted up her left leg. She actually had a little bit of coughing in the morning that we were kind of worried about, but these are the first kind of reflexes that she has had since her surgery. So we're all very hopeful that she pulls through this and what she's going through right now. I was actually at work when I got a text message from Sia, and then I got a text message from a lot of people actually, and I didn't want to really believe it. Like, it was It's like, no, not in Tumbler Ridge. Like, it's so far fetched that something like that would ever happen. Like, you don't normally see stuff happen like that in Canada, right? All we want from Canadians is just Maya's prayers. There's really nothing to understand. Like, what everybody in Tumbler Ridge went through that day was an absolute tragedy. I don't want uh anything to get looked over. Like, all those children, like, that should have never happened. It was a normal day. Maya was going to school, and that shouldn't happen ever. I have no idea what could have possibly went through anybody's mind to do such a thing. Like, it should have been a normal day, and it clearly wasn't a normal day. She's smart, she's funny, she's talented, she's everything that she wants to do, she makes sure that she can do it, and she'll try anything and everything. That's why I'm 100% sure she's way too stubborn to let this break her. She, like, she'll pull through this. I believe that she will.
There's her first year in high school. You know, she's working on a catapult project with a group of people, and she was excited to get there early so she could work on it because she had some pretty great plans that she was really excited to see come out. She is the most compassionate and loving person, and she is tenacious. She's not going to give up, and she's going to come back and she's going to show everybody. And I just can't wait for that day. I know at this point that there's a possibility of a ceiling. I do understand that there might just be that.
She is strong and she is a fighter, absolutely. And honestly, there's another one I hope I can find because it is the child's auntie who's talking with the news, and she had a very important message that she wanted to share with the world, basically. Okay, I hope this I hope this is it. If not, I'll go back and I'll search for it.
For the family of Maya Gabala, sitting by her hospital bed is a blessing because it means she's still with them, even if doctors didn't think she would be.
They were asking for us to make a decision for organ donation.
Maya, aged 12, was shot in the head and neck during the rampage at Tumbler Ridge Secondary, and after being airlifted to BC Children's Hospital, she's remained in extreme critical condition, clinging to life. But with a nation behind her, Maya is improving.
She's progressing a little bit each day, and we're happy to report that she is having little tiny breath initiations on her own and little eye flickers. So we know that there's some healing happening.
The country has rallied around Maya, with donations to her GoFundMe topping $400,000.
It's amazing, and thank you from the bottom of our hearts. This will give Maya her lifelong care that she will need, because more than likely she will be in a wheelchair.
Maya was fired upon in the midst of trying to lock the door to the library to keep the shooter out.
She tried to save those kids' lives.
Sharing that same sense of selflessness, her family now calling on Canadians to support other Tumbler Ridge fundraisers, saying they simply need it more.
We want to make sure that everybody gets that support too, not just Maya. So that's super important as well for us to be able to help the families that lost their loved ones, because you can't explain how devastating that is, to have your child go to school and not come back.
In Vancouver, Jack Rabb, City News.
That is the one that I wanted to show. Um, so Maya's GoFundMe has over $400,000, which is great because when she recovers, she will need care, obviously. Um, and that's going to cost a lot of money. So I'm happy that people have donated so much to Maya. But for her family to come out and basically say, you know, don't forget about all the other families, they also need your support. I think that that was a huge gesture. And hopefully many people who had the intention of donating see that and decide that, you know, they want to donate and they're going to donate to just maybe split it up a little bit. So, um, I think that that is a good place to end it. Now, I don't have any of the GoFundMe links, but if I find them, I can put them into the show notes. And I hope the best for Maya for sure. And it is devastating and it's sad, but her family seems strong. She seems strong. All of the families uh, deserve our support and attention. And even the shooter's mother and brother lost their lives at his hands. And senseless act of violence. And you have to wonder, I don't think it's nearly as much about the guns as it is about mental health in our country. There, Marie Antoinette's got Maya's GoFundMe, but make sure before you donate to that one, you search for Tumbler Ridge victims. I'm sure there's a number of them. 8 people plus the shooter lost their lives that day. So, and then just really quickly, because you know how I like to tell both sides, as we were talking, the one thing that I don't mind sharing of the messages that I got, um, was that somebody on Maleha's side said that Malaya did not lose her supervised visitation. So there's the other side of that story. I don't mind reporting it. However, I don't know which is true, which is, you know, par for the course in this case. But like I said, the information that I have came from a first-hand source. So I'm going to leave that where it is. I appreciate everybody for being here this whole time, 3.5 hours. This was a long one, but we covered a lot of information, I think. And finally, we had some good conversation about Jack and Lily, what they went through, and hopefully it'll bring in more conversation so we can keep it going. You sure have a way of ripping my heart out, Charmaine. It's important, I think, especially the auntie. It's the emotion, not taking anything away from Maya's parents, okay? Because they're to me they're on adrenaline, right? I can't imagine what they're going through. But the auntie, she's out there and she's talking, and to have the strength and the dignity even to say, you know what, there are a lot of other victims who lost their children. You know, thank you for donating to Maya. She's going to need it for the rest of her life. But don't forget about all the rest. You know, it's very selfless of her, and I thought it was worth sharing. And that is the interview that made me cry, because the acts of selflessness always get to me. So, anyways, I'm either getting the flu or I'm about to have a good cry. Either way, thank you so much for being here with me. I will probably be back tomorrow. If anybody has any information, email me. It's ticking across the bottom there. or reach out to me on Messenger. And with that, Harley needs to eat. Have a great night, everybody. Bye.
We're going down.